All right, Shalom Yasharallah. Before we get started, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak and double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. We're back in the video. All right, another lesson. This is going to be a prophecy watch. All right, we're going to go into some articles that I have pulled up. I'm going to try to get to some of them, most of them. But, some of these I got pulled up. Most of them are from not End Time Headlines, The People's Voice. But I probably won't read all of them, but I'll put the link to the description. I'll put the link in the description below, But I want to first start with this one. Now, some of these are a little more older, but hey. Still worth reading, right? But it's from the People's Voice. It says, Bill Gates unveils plan to microchip all babies worldwide before they're born. All right, so for those of you who don't believe in the market, I'll say the chip. All right, who don't believe that the mark of the beast is the C-hip, you went for the world of hurt. But it says Gil Bates, all right, has declared that the CDC's childhood vac, all right, schedule 72 shots and counting isn't nearly enough. Now he wants to go even further by injecting, all right, this stuff into babies before they're born. That's right, in the womb. It says if that doesn't set off alarm bells, especially after the deadly fallout of the Crown, the C19, all right, juice rollout, it's time to look at what Gates is already doing in the developing world, because that's where the plan is being perfected right now. In countries like Kenya and India, all right, Gates is backing programs that inject biometric ID systems, tying access to healthcare, education, communication, even food to compliance with expanding list of mandatory, all right, jump shots. This stuff. I'm sorry. It says these aren't public health measures. They're systems of control disguised as humanitarian aid, and that's what they want. All right, that's their plan. Their plan is total control. All right, so it's an interview you can watch. It's not on YouTube, but you can go on Rumble and try to look it up. Aaron Russo, he was being interviewed by Alex Jones, and he in that interview he was talking about how the Rockefellers. His name was Nick Rockefeller. All right, he told him his plan for the coming times. I believe that interview years old, but during that time, he said they want total control. They want everybody to be micro, chipped. All right, but this is 2 Thessalonians 2, and I'll read verse 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. And that's how Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, all right, the Caucasian, that's how they have a God complex, all right, and in the times to come, or even now, starting now, they want to have people chipped. We gotta watch what we say because they could take this video down, but it is what it is at this point. But that's their plan for total control. Total have everybody on an electronic grid, so they can trace you, track, see what you're buying, see what selling even, right? So let's go back. I'm gonna try to get through most of these quickly. It says, and suddenly, down here, and suddenly, what the so-called fact checkers have been dismissing as conspiracy theory just became conspiracy fact. All right, and you can read the rest of this on your own. I want to get another. Let's get Revelation 3:10. All right, it says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world. Try them that dwell upon the earth. It shall come upon all the world." Okay, all right, it said worldwide, did it not? Let's go back. All right, Gil Bates unveils plan to microchip all babies worldwide before they're born. So it's going to be a worldwide thing, not just here in America, all right, or Americas. It's going to be it's going to be global. Okay, I think China doing something like that. China micro, or they got what's that stuff called? What's that thing called? A social credit system. You know, that's the next thing we're gonna get. But you can read this. Microchip implants in humans, particularly in the context of China, involve both consumer-friendly applications and potential concerns regarding surveillance and privacy. But China, you know, they're ahead of the game. You know, they have surveillance. All right, like I just said, the social credit score system, right? Which you can get that real quick. Yep. This also from the People's Voice. Palantir ex-employee warns WEF linked company launching American social credit score system worse than China. It says Palantir's AI surveillance platform makes China's social credit score system look innocent by comparison, according to a former company insider who is now warning that the United States is quietly handing over unprecedented control of its citizens' data to a private defense contractor with links to Bilderberg and the World Economic Forum. And quote, "This is not communist China. It is the United States of America, the so-called land of the free," which are not really free, all right, "and her citizens are being contracted out to a private entity. That's the part, all right, that should terrify all of us," said Juan Sebastian Pinto, a former Palantir employee who helped market the company's battlefield and surveillance technologies. It says Pinto, who worked on the very platforms now being deployed to surveil and control American citizens, said he left the company after realizing the full scope of his ambitions. Among the tools he helped promote were AI-driven kill chains systems designed to automatically identify and eliminate targets using massive amounts of real-time data. Those same tools, he warns, are now being integrated into domestic agencies like the Department of Homeland Security, the C to the D to the C, and the IRS to create a system designed to achieve globalist ambitions of American social credit score system. All right, and you can look it up. Matter of fact, let's do it. China. Since we already got typed in social credit system, right? It says China's social credit system is a nationwide initiative that aims to evaluate and influence the trustworthiness and behavior of individuals and businesses. You see, so it's monitoring your behavior, how you act out in public, you know, in everyday life, if you or on the internet, because that's gonna come, right? Let me see. Man, yep. Look at this. Barack Obama says he wants fact checkers granted powers to arrest U.S. citizens. So, hey, they're gonna monitor you on the internet as well, and they're gonna just monitor you in your regular day life, monitor you on the internet. They're gonna monitor you, watch you, while you go to work and stuff like that. All right, this is what we're coming to. It says Barack Obama has openly called for fact checkers to be granted sweeping powers to arrest U.S. citizens spreading unapproved narratives, framing it as necessary to curb online speech during his recent Connecticut Forum appearance. Dismissing the First Amendment under a facade of civility, Obama insisted on regulatory constraints to prevent diversity of facts, arguing that platforms must not elevate hateful or polarizing voices that can incite violence. All right, and let's get Amos. Let's get that real quick. Is it 8? Yeah. Amos 8 and 11, it says, behold, the days come, said the Lord Yahweh, that's the Most High's name, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. All right, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. All right, so the Lord's gonna send a famine of hearing the words of the Lord, man. This comes out of the scriptures, and how he's gonna do that? One, he's gonna take his men off the streets. All right, he's gonna, there's gonna come a time where you may try to get on the internet to look up videos or look up what the mark of the beast is. All right, but it's gonna be too late at that point. Right? You're gonna need access. You're gonna need an ID or something. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. Right? So that time is gonna come where the Lord's gonna have, all right, his men, his prophets, not on the streets anymore, preaching. Because right now we're out giving a warning, okay? But soon the Lord's gonna shut this thing down, man. And he's gonna bring, Jacob's trouble, which well, I'm not gonna say that, but it's starting to happen. Okay, but let's read a little bit more. It says, in his nonchalant attack on free expression, Obama emphasized the need for government oversight on digital platforms, Twitter, Instagram or X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, portraying it as a balance between hearing all voices and silencing those deemed dangerous by the elite. Okay, and who are deemed dangerous by the elite? Starting with us, number one, Hebrew Israelites. All right, we're going to point blank period. That's what they really want to silence, because they don't want this truth getting out. It says, hosted a few weeks ago to discuss current events, the event expressed let me slow down. The event exposed Obama's tyrannical instincts hidden behind a smiling celebrity mask as he pushed for a business model that prioritizes conformity over truth. What does conformity mean? All right, conformity, compliance with standards, rules, or laws. Okay, it says compliance with, adherence to, accordance with, observance, observation, obedience. So they want you to be obedient to the system. All right, not to rebel against it. It says raising, which you're not really supposed to, you're not supposed to if it's in a righteous way. They telling you to go off. Of course you ain't gonna, you're not gonna do it. Right? It says raising alarms about authoritarian control over American discourse. All right, and you can read the rest of this. All right, I'm not gonna be able to get through all of it. I gotta go back soon. So, but let's get another one. Let me see. Was that it? Was that it? I think it was one on hit. See what End Time Headlines got. All right, fears of World War III as Trump orders Australia and Japan to get ready for war with China. All right, so that's stirring up. War is in the air. Okay, don't forget about that. It says, heads up, NASA says to look out for fireballs from upcoming meteor shower. All right, signs in the heavens. It says going into that. Got another tropical storm system could form into the Gulf, producing the next big flood. All right, so a lot of things is happening. Russia warns of nuclear Armageddon following Trump's latest move to help arm Ukraine. All right. It says right here, 5 Iranians arrested after trying to sneak into the U.S., raising concerns of sleeper cells. All right, let's read this. All right, this came out, what? It was today, the 17th. Came out 2 days ago, right? Or yesterday. No, today is 16th. It's a lot, yeah. But it says U.S. Border Patrol agents from the Champlain station in New York apprehended 5 Iranian nationals and 2 I'm sorry, I know this word, but it's hard to say. And 2 Uzbekistan citizens attempting to illegally cross the U.S.-Canada border near Moores Forks, New York, according to a statement from U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The group was discovered in a minivan, raising fresh concerns about national security in small border communities like Swanton, Vermont, Vermont, located near Highway 89 just south of the Canadian border. The CPB's Swanton sector emphasized the significance of arrests, stating border security is national security and directly correlates to public safety. Swanton sector agents remain vigilant and committed to protecting our borders and enforcing immigration laws. All 7 individuals had prior arrests for attempting to cross the border illegally and are currently detained awaiting deportation proceedings. The incident comes amid heightened fears of potential terrorist threats, particularly following U.S. military airstrikes on Iranian nuclear facilities on June 2022. June 2022. Forgive me, y'all. June 22nd, 2025, known as Operation Midnight Hammer. National security experts have voiced concerns about Iranian sleeper cells potentially operating within the U.S. All right, Jonathan Gilliam, a former FBI special agent and terrorism task force member, warned Fox News Digital, where these sleeper cells maybe is in plain sight. It says, and that's the real terrifying part of this is that putting people in place, as we've seen over the past 4 years, everyone's scrambling because certain amounts of people could come in here and get in here. All right, so let's get a quick one real quick. I'm sorry. Let's get that last. I want to get this one over here. This is it second? No. Phone hot. So 1 Peter 5 and 8, it says, it reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Now, and this could be, set up, Salakia. This could be set up by, by Esau, having people come across the border and, having people in fear, man. All right? We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, but be sober, be vigilant, okay? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right? So we gotta stay vigilant out here. Watch, don't be what's the word? Don't be just walking around not knowing your surroundings, man, because anything can happen out here. There was another one that's just like this one. Oh yeah, Ephesians. This is Ephesians 5 and 14. It says, wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Yahushua, that's the name of the Messiah, shall give thee light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. All right? And it's going to get worse and worse as we go on, man. And it was another one. Yep, 2 Timothy 3 and 1. It says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. All right, now we're living in the last days. We're in the last days. Perilous times we're in perilous times already, but it's gonna get more and more dangerous as we move on. Because because in order to get to the kingdom of heaven, we gotta go through tribulation. We gotta go through something. The Lord's just not gonna give it to us. So, I'll put the links in the description, so you brothers, you want to go do videos on them, you can. But Lord willing, it was edifying for you brothers and you sisters out there. All right, we don't give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Badash, and double honors the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and citation to the 04 elect. Lord willing, was edified, and Lord willing, we'll be back with another one. Till then, I'm going to say, Shalom.